Basically, I had to sort of meditate all morning. Even when I was there, like the setup and the just like being conscious of not wanting to get caught up in trying to trying, basically, not get caught up in trying to do anything, but just so that when I got up there, I could just sort of follow my muse where it went,
Yeah.
And that's a lot of work, It's hard for me. I would imagine anybody, but certainly for me to play long solos. It's a lot of work to keep in that place, where you're not judging anything. You're just in the moment, and you're following your muse, and it's taking you to good place. Yes, Universal Rhythms, my book, they're basically claves. The universal rhythms are claves, 1-bar clave, son, rumba, 6/8 clave. In my book, it's in 4/4. It's a 6/8 clave. It's a 6/8 feel, but everything's notated in 4/4. But so that's another clave, and then the partido alto, which isn't technically called a clave, but it's basically serving the same kind of purpose, where it's a foundational, it's an organizing rhythmic principle, that everything is built upon and around and within. The application of the concept is to listen for it, to recognize it when you hear it. In an effort to quickly get to the heart of a piece of music, whether you're, that's ultimately what we're doing, unless, even as composers, we're trying to get to the heart of the matter, and as journeymen, as side people, hired guns, we come to a piece of music and we want to be able to get right inside that story, and from a rhythmic standpoint, that's what I always do first. Is I need to find some rhythmic ground that I can, create my contribution to the music.
To make it more interesting.
Not just interesting, but cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
If a guitar player is playing 3, 4, a song down, a boom, dum, dum, or maybe that's a bass line. Boom, boom, dum, so say it's just that. We're gonna that's the bass line to the verse in this pop tune we're gonna record today. We're in the studio, and I'm a session drummer, and I'm gonna be looking for, again, a foundational rhythm that I can relate to that, so that I can not only create what I'm going to say based on what he's or she is saying, but also this idea in my mind that just so happens maybe ties in with the guitar player, because the bass player is going da da da, and the guitar player might be going da da da, So there's your partito alto. No, and so now if that is the case, I'm going to make a decision based on all that information and ultimately try to weave a part into that. So I'm not going to jump full bore on any one thing that's going on, you know. To tell a musical story, to tell the story in song is like a conversation amongst whoever's playing the song, and that conversation is an effort, or is in effort, to tell the story of the song. So it gets pretty complex if you want it to. If I start with a groove, because I want to, you know, maybe I want to write a tune, and I want it to start from, you know, playing a groove that I dig, something I like and makes me happy. So I start from the groove, and I'm going to leave some space, and I could preconceive a clave or universal rhythm, or not. I could just play the groove, and then now I've got to come up with a bass line. So I go to the same place,
yeah.
You know what I mean? As if I were the session drummer,
yeah,
interpreting someone else's tune. So that's a practical application of the concept.
Awesome.
Okay? And what I was doing at the Modern Drummer Festival was basically playing around son clave, 2/3.
Yeah.
You know, and I shifted to a 6/8 thing at one point, and I modulated, I think, at one point to. So I was playing the same clave, I think, if I remember correctly, but I just modulated the
6/8. Yeah,
the time. Yeah. To tell a story in music, there has to be a lot of reference to the plot. There's a lot of repetition involved. You know, in jazz music, it may not be as obvious sometimes in what's being said, but at least it wasn't to me growing up. But, you know, the form is repeating over and over and over. And they're short little tunes, you know. I didn't get that when I was a kid. I was like listening to jazz music and you know, just not understanding it, you know. But you know, it's not so complex. It's pretty. So, I mean, of course, we can take it anywhere we want, but it's like it boils down to a form, you know, and that within that form, you can boil it down within the form to a universal rhythm.
Like macro view and micro view.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the macro would be
the
form, micro would be a clave. You know, I mean, it's just, I state it in my book, again.
You want to demonstrate maybe something from
Sure.
your book?
Universal Rhythms for Drumset. Out of this book, this handsome book, this wonderfully crafted book, on page 21, lesson 5, I'm going to demonstrate all of the exercises on that page with steps 1, 2, and 3, which you will find on page 12 and 13, well, on page 12. Yeah, 12 and 13, okay? Steps 1, 2, and 3. Subdividing it with the voice and clapping simultaneously. So starting on exercise 1. I'll do 4 bars each. 1, 2, 3. No, I'm sorry, we're in 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, you out, and a 1, you out, and a 1, you out, and a 1, you 1, you 2, and a 1, you 2, you 1, you 2, and a 1, you 2. The most important thing about this, I didn't write a step 0 in this book, but I should have. And I should have said, just work on your voice. Be able to make these figures groove with your voice. and then add your hand clap and line them up, you know. So, you know, just the subdividing alone is a challenge for a lot of people, you know, to varying degrees. To varying degrees. It's a challenge, and I recommend just working on that alone. So taking it from exercise 4, which the skeleton figure is just quarter notes, I'm just going to finish. I'll do four skeleton figures with my voice only. One of the key things is legato. Make it feel legato. Articulate the melody, the skeleton figure, and very low with the ghost subdivisions. All right, from exercise 5, I'll demonstrate step 1 again, unisons. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, and 2. I want it. 2, and 2. I want it. I want it. I do it. And want it. I want it, I do it, and I want it, do it, want it, do it, want it. Step 2 would leave my voice on the universal rhythm, which is exercise 1. And the universal rhythm in this lesson number 5, is universal rhythm number 1, the 1-bar clave. My voice is now going to stay there, and I'm going to clap the skeleton figures. Want it, I do it, and I want it. I do it, and I do it, and I want it, 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 want it, I want it, I do it, and I want it, I do it. Number 3, I do it, and I want it. Let me do number 8 and 9 like that. Check out these counter rhythms. They dance nice. Number 8, want it, I do it. And Bonnie, I do, and Bonnie, I do, and Bonnie, I do. Number 9, I do, and Bonnie, I do, and Bonnie, and Bonnie, I do, and Bonnie, I do, and Bonnie, I do, and Bonnie, I do, Bonnie, I do, and. When you're subdividing the universal rhythm, you know, you make sure you go and, even though you're going 2 strong notes in the melody. And, don't go and when your voice is supposed to stay on the universal rhythm. All right, step 3. I'll start in unison, exercise 1. Now I'm going to split, and I'm going to clap the universal rhythm as a constant, split with my voice. So here we go. Bonnie, I do it, and Bonnie, I do it, and Bonnie, I do it, and Bonnie, I Bonnie, do it, and Bonnie, do it, Bonnie. Do it, and I want it, do it, want it, do it, I want it, and do it, want it, do it. You know, how much can you hear? That's kind of what this is aimed at, as well as I feel, for example, like when I play time, if I play time with nothing in my mind, you know, it's never as compelling or funky as when there's something in my mind. And these skeleton figures give you something musical to be in your mind, and the nature of this discipline, these steps on page 12 and 13, is that it's basically context and content, or theme and variation, and being able to hear the two things simultaneously, much like we have to do, which is exactly what we have to do in real life as musicians. So now I'm going to do the same routine that I just did with voice and hand clap, but now I'm going to interpret these skeleton figures. All right, so here's exercise 1, step 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I and a 1, I and a 1, I and a 1, I and a 1. Do it and a 1, do it, 1, do it and a 1, do it, 1, do it. I want it and do it, 1, do it. I want it and do it, 1, 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 do it and do it, 1, do it and do it, 1, do it and 1. then, 1. So you get the picture, that's step 1. Voice and bass drummers in unison, and I'm just doing the skeleton figures. I am not playing my interpretations of these skeleton figures on page 21. I'm reinterpreting the skeleton figures, which is a practice that I highly recommend that you do with this book. There are over 500 figures in this book that are based around these 5 universal rhythms, and nothing is random. Every figure in the book is always based around a clave. Exercise 1, step 2. Point, and a pointy, 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 Number 8. Step 3. So now the drums are going to stay on the universal rhythm, and the voice is going to move. This is a fantastic discipline for working on your ability to play time and hear outside of what you're playing. Hear what you're accompanying. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and a point, and a point, and a point, and a point.